all for Allah. When Shaitan heard about Ayyub's piety 7, steadfastness, worship and devotion, he did not believe that Ayyub was sincerely doing it for the sake of Allah, and that he like many was in reality ungrateful to Allah, and so he set out to prove it. When he came to Ayyub, he whispered to him about the attractions of the worldly life and how he should spend more time in its pleasures rather than worshipping Allah, but Ayyub was not disturbed by it, for he cared nothing about the worldly life. Still Shaitan did not buy it. He told Allah that Ayyub is not a sincere worshipper, but rather he does it for show, and that if he allows him to destroy his wealth, he will show him the reality of Ayyub. Allah gave him the permission, and Shaitan destroyed all Ayyub possessed of livestock, cattle, crop and houses. Ayyub said, "What Allah has taken away from me belongs to him. I was only its trustee for a while. He gives to whom he wills and withholds from whom he wills." Then he prostrated to his Lord. This angered the Shaitan. He then invoked Allah, saying that his heart is attached to his children, that is why he is still pretending to be sincere, and that if he gives him the permission to kill all his children, he will see that Ayyub is ungrateful to Allah. When he was given the permission, Shaitan killed all of Ayyub's children. Now childless Ayyub said, "Allah sometimes gives and sometimes takes. He is sometimes pleased and sometimes displeased until our deeds. Whether a thing is beneficial or harmful to me, I will remain firm in my belief and remain thankful to my Creator." Then Shaitan invoked Allah once more, saying that as long as Ayyub is healthy, he hopes to one day regain what he has lost, so if Allah permits him to attack Ayyub's body, he will have no choice but to reveal his ungratefulness. And so he was permitted, and he entered into Ayyub's body, inflicting him with illnesses and diseases, so much that the body of Ayyub became an eyesore to the people, and it was said that they ended throwing him in the city dump. Ayyub, who was a prophet with much wealth, children and good health, now had nothing left in the world, not even a house. All he had was his wife, who believed in Allah and his messenger, and stayed with Ayyub during his hardship. When she ran out of money, she was forced to work as a maid in order to feed herself and Ayyub. Shunned by all his people and family except his wife, while in pain and suffering, who would have blamed Ayyub if he complained to Allah? Yet Ayyub spent this time remembering Allah. He said, 7 Praise you, the Lord of Lords, who bestowed his kindness upon me and gave me wealth and children, and there was no corner of my heart that was not filled with attachment to these worldly things. Then you took all of that away from me and you emptied my heart, and there is nothing to stand between me and you. If my enemy Iblis knew of this, he would be jealous of me. He said, O Lord, you gave me wealth and children, and there was no one standing at my door complaining of some wrong I had done to him. You know that I used to have a bed prepared for me, but I forsook it and said to myself, you were not created to lie on a comfortable bed. I only forsook that for your sake. He remained in this condition for 18 years, still recalling the favors of Allah upon him, glorifying his praises, declaring his greatness and being devoted to him. When the time came for Allah to relieve Ayyub of his hardship, he healed him of his diseases, and he looked better than before. Then he sent to him 2 clouds that rained gold upon him, then resurrected all his children and gave him more children. And he made him an example to those who are being tried, that they should not think that because of the hardship they are going through, that he does not care about them, rather they should accept his decree and bear the trials, and that surely his help will come, and he will compensate them for their troubles. Notice the Shaitan did the same thing as he did with others, but it didn't work with Ayyub. Actually, you might say it even brought him closer to Allah. The same action brought about a different result. Now you might say because he is a prophet, but there were many righteous men and women who were tempted but did not yield. Islamic history is full of them. And besides that, there wasn't anything humanly impossible that Ayyub did, so how are one group of people misguided and another guided? And what does it have to do with the reality of Allah and what we believe about him? Notice the statement made by Ayyub and how it is different from what most people would say. So maybe it had to do until his knowledge, close. People who claim to believe in Allah might say the same and still act differently. Yes, he had knowledge, but there was something more important. It was his heart.